Tamika. Would you like to start, Tamika, telling us?
Sure, absolutely. So good morning. My name is Tamika Smith. I am the owner and photographer behind Tamika Smith Photography. As far as the industry I am in and who I am, it is all wrapped up in my name. So I photograph families, military events in Washington, D.C., as well as headshots for business owners. And the challenges I am having currently in my business is just the ability to get out and photograph. So with COVID happening, a lot of people are hesitant as far as wanting to get out and take photographs. So I'm in the condensing business right now. So yeah, that that is who I am and the challenges that I am facing.
Got it.
Nice, nice. Good to know your industry.
And that would be Sheila. So Miss Sheila, what about you?
Yes, thank you. I own Midian Consulting, and I develop and deliver personalized content for leadership and communications, which I usually do for large corporate clients such as Raytheon, the Aerospace Corporation, et cetera. And those are done in-house. So on March 13th, all those contracts, they said, yeah, we're either going to have to cancel or put on hold, or it's indefinite, that sort of thing. So Aerospace did ask me to pull together some online training, which has been great because it's a space that I hadn't really developed. I hadn't made the time to develop because I was busy doing the in-house and trying to gain new clients. So now the challenge that I'm having is, oh, and I'm sorry, my name is Sheila Miller Nelson. The challenge that I'm having is I've created some online content, which I realize is at least the immediate wave of the future. How do I now get new clients, right? So I have Raytheon and Aerospace are on board. It's a very fractional piece of the business that I had before. However, if I could get new clients, then I could start building again. So my challenge is, how do I get new people to notice and know me, and then really have faith in what I do. So, and I know a lot of that probably comes down to social presence, which if you went out and saw it now, you'd say, oh, I don't want to hire her.
Social proof is important. That's
Yes,
great.
most
Thank you
definitely.
for letting us know, Sheila.
Okay, so we have Raymond.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm in the space of collecting back tech, so basically all the monitors and televisions. I guess we partner with like some of the parking lots from Ralph's, CVS, Home Depot, Target. It's been really challenging these days. We've been doing these touchless drive-through, kind of just drive and drop. And we have events going on this weekend in Downey and also in Lakewood. But with the closure of all these malls here in Southern California, it's been a challenge because it's just trying to help people to kind of get back to the norm. So again, the space that I'm in is just basically going after all the hardware and tech. You can imagine how many cars are here in Los Angeles. I mean, just imagine how many electronics are here. So it's the same concept.
Got it.
Okay, and next we have Levon.
Oh, you're on mute, Levon.
We still can't hear you.
I tried to unmute. Not working on my
Do you see a button on the bottom left-hand side?
Yes.
There we go. There you go. Oh, there we go.
Okay. We did it. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Great. So basically, as I indicated, I'm a tax attorney. So what I do is I advise people and represent people and individuals and businesses and kind of solving problems tax related. So I guess as far as challenges, is that, getting new business while I'm working is kind of a challenge just from a time perspective. But certainly from a digital perspective, I really don't have a digital presence. I have a very basic website, and I keep thinking one day I'm going to do these things. But one, I don't really find the time, and two, I'm just very hesitant because I'm just extremely uncomfortable with all of it. And I'm analog, so I'm from the generation where, I'm not really crazy about all this. Like I have no interest in following what people say online or things like that. So, but I need to come up with some sort of strategy that I am willing to and able to follow, whether it's like a short video series or something, just to enhance my digital presence. So.
Because while you may not be interested in what people have to say online, people are most certainly interested in what you have to say, because you handle a very niche market. So, and that's something that we'll discuss as well.
Awesome. Thank you for everyone telling us about yourself and your industry.
So let's get to this discussion outline. So what are we talking about today, right? So first and foremost, we're going to discuss what exactly is digital marketing, right? And then we're going to cover digital versus traditional. And we'll pretty much discover which one could be right for you. Following that, we will discuss video content. And this is arguably the most important piece of your digital strategy. And then fourth, we're going to cover where or how do you start today. And if you're online right now, where can you potentially improve, right? So what is digital marketing? Wikipedia defines digital marketing as the component of marketing that utilizes internet and online-based digital technologies such as desktop computers, mobile phones, and platforms to promote products and services. So what exactly does this mean? Because everyone on here has the internet, right? But if anybody can do this, why are only a fraction of businesses good or great at this particular marketing function? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
I said people don't want to be in front of the camera.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Good part of it.
I think depending on your age and what you grew up with, when I graduated high school, there was no find your friends on Facebook. So it's just, it's not completely foreign, but it's just different.
Okay.
Right.
Anybody else? Doesn't seem like it. All right, cool. Well, the reason why is because the product or service most of the time fails to connect with its target audience. When you connect with a potential customer or a client, there's an emotional connection there. And that's what causes people to be emotionally invested in whatever product or service it is that you have to offer. So it's not always being on camera.
Right. And so we're going to break down the digital marketing campaign components. Image around here. The following campaign components are used by businesses to successfully connect and communicate with their target audience, so you can convert them from onlookers to paying customers. So we have the 5 components, which is your website, your social media presence, your social media, digital advertising, email marketing, SMS text marketing. So let's take a look at each of these components individually and how businesses use them to run successful digital marketing campaigns.
So your website, number one, that's going to serve as your business's online real estate, right? That's the reason why it's called your web address. And second of all, it's going to serve as your virtual business card. And lastly, but most importantly, it's your website's main purpose is to be the online solution for your prospects' problems. So what tools make websites effective? Number one, stellar design and user interface functionality. And you want to do this for both desktop and mobile, right? Second of all, your Google and Facebook data pixels. Has anybody ever heard of those? Okay, no, I see a yes.
Is that like metadata or SEO?
No, not exactly. It plays a part in your Facebook data pixel data, but no. So your pixel is what allows you to retarget potential customers that may have visited your website. It also allows you to see exactly where they're falling off in the customer journey. But we'll dive into that a little bit deeper. And also you want to have above the fold call to actions on your website. So this could be a number of different things, but for example, we have email enrollment offer. It could be like something that's 10% off or something like that. A lot of beauty brands tend to do that. You also have customer prospect questionnaires to find out more information about the potential customer. And then you also want to have something maybe that's an action button. So you want to have them take some type of action before they scroll down on your website. So that could be a learn more button. It could be a shop now for e-commerce or a number of other different options as well.
And to elaborate on above the fold, that means when you go to a website and the first thing you see is either the header or you may see buttons that you can click, you want to get that call to action before people have to scroll, because most websites have a very high bounce rate, which means after they see the first fold part of your website, if they're not interested, they're moving on to the next thing. So that's what above the fold is. And then we move on to the second component, which is social media, which is primarily what a lot of us are here for. Here's a very great quote from Emily Coates from HubSpot. With over 40% of the world's population on social media, it's critical your business devises an effective social media strategy to reach your intended audience. And we know even more so with COVID-19, there are more people at home, more people on their cell phones, and more people online. So that number is drastically higher. Social media serves as your business's online conversation starter. It's a way for you to have two-way engagement, build trust with your customers, and like we said, the vehicle that starts your prospect's journey and turns them into paying customers. Your prospects want to look at you like a Yelp review. They want to see what other people say about you. They want to see what photos you have, what great photos, how it looks, what kind of experience can they get. And the social proof your prospects require to gain consumer trust all comes from social media. Like I said, it's like your Yelp profile. Think of it like that. Effective social media marketing requires strategy to connect with your intended audiences. What methods do successful businesses use as a part of their strategy to achieve this? So we've been talking about marketing. We've been talking about content. Content marketing is branded content. It is content that comes from your brand, and it is letting people know who your brand is, what you guys stand for, and who do you serve, and most importantly, what solution do you provide? So photography are always best results. Commercial photography, if you want to get really great, high quality photos to catch people's eyes. Videos, like we've been saying, it's really great to tell a story without having people read a 3-page memoir, because we are reading less these days. Infographics are even greater. You can create those to explain simple steps as well as complicated steps to break it down. And people can use it as a checklist, as a way to go back and understand how to work with your business or understand how your product or service works without you having to constantly explain. And then animations are a really great way. If you guys are YouTubers, you will see animations used a lot on YouTube to explain concepts. I always see a lot of that for like psychology and emotional intelligence. And it's really great to use for your product or service to, again, explain who you are, brand who you are. Now, when you're thinking of your social media marketing strategy, you also want to consider copywriting and hashtags. So copywriting is your captions. It is the text on your website, the text on your landing pages, any form of text on your ads. That is what you're going to write to grab your customer's attention, to tell them your story, to give them the call to action, like we said, above the fold, for them to come and further engage and convert with your business. Hashtags. Hashtags are great. They are time consuming. It's a great organic way for your business, especially on Instagram and Twitter. If you use Twitter, some people like to use that more so. It's a great conversation starter. But you can use hashtags to go in and find other people. You can use hashtags on your posts so people can find you in your relative industry. Like LaVon, we have you doing taxes and attorney. You can use hashtags like financial advisor or taxes 2020, things that people are using, and you can actually search them too to see if people are using them and the value for you to get your post to reach that audience, as well as to leave your content online, and people that search those hashtags, they can come back and find you, whether your post was made 5 years ago or 5 weeks ago. It still lives online under those hashtags. Organic engagement kind of goes back to what I was saying with hashtags. Some people, when they think of marketing strategies, they're like, I don't have the funds for a full marketing strategy. Well, if you don't have the funds for it, then you have to allocate the time where it's at least an hour a day of you going in, finding your prospects. Just think of it as a relationship. Think of it as you just met someone on the street, or you met someone at an LAX Chamber event and you want to get to know them. You don't kind of bombard them with your sales and your products and your services. You say, hey, this is who I am. I see who you are. Let's find some common interests. So that's how organic engagement can work for you in a personable way for your brand, because people buy from people, not from products. Facebook groups is a great strategy you can add to your social media marketing. Facebook groups are super, super niche. And you'll find a group that is focused on knitting, and you'll find people in there sharing resources. You have groups about travel, about finances, about marketing. And these are people that are sharing information with each other, depending on who runs the group, because you do have like a lot of coaches and consultants that have their own group. So you can't really post and promote in there, but you can engage, you can build relationships, you can call people to send you a private message and follow up with new prospects that way. And these are people who are already interested in your industry. Then you have collaborations. Collaborations are a great strategy for two brands to come together. You have Instagram Lives. Instagram has the feature now where you can do a live together. Your pictures are right on top of each other. Your audiences are both notified that you're going live. So you have that ability to get, in front of their audience, and vice versa. You can do that as well on Facebook. And these are really great ways, like I said, to get your brand out there. But then you have other ways like influencer marketing. Influencers are people who also have niche audiences. And I would say, compared to Facebook groups, if you pay for an influencer, you know, you have people that may charge you $25 for one post or $2,500, depending on how much notoriety they have, how much engagement they have. And that's something you also want to pay attention to: engagement, numbers, and following. Because these days with technology, there are ways for you to inflate your numbers. You can kind of inflate your engagement with robots. They have bots that leave messages on people's pages, but you want to do your research and make sure if you're paying an influencer for your social media strategy, that they actually have audiences that are responding. And all you can do is just go to their page, look at their comments, see if it's real comments, not a, hey, that looks good, I appreciate that sun pic, but they're at a picnic at night and there's no sun. So you just have to do a little research to see, before paying, if these influencers are worth representing your brand in that type of collaboration.
So next is targeted advertising, and this is based on online consumer behavior, interests, and likes and activity. The Facebook data pixel allows you to effectively retarget those prospects who have engaged with your content on any level. And this could be something as simple as scrolling and stopping and watching your video, but not necessarily reacting to it. So something as simple as that, and it could be for 5 to 8 seconds. And you could have like a 3-second video, a 30-second to 60-second video, but they only watched it for a few seconds. You can retarget that person based on the pixel. Let's see here. And it also provides you with critical data to analyze where your prospects are failing to convert in the sales process. So if they get to the portion where they're initiating a checkout, but they're not closing the sale, that sale hasn't converted, you'll be able to dive in a little bit deeper and figure out why that person is turned off by your checkout process. Maybe it's not simple enough. Maybe you're charging a little bit too much for the shipping. Maybe there's a little bit too much on the tax. It could be a number of different things that cost you that conversion.
Right, and he gave the example of if you have a product. Now, if you offer a service and you want to book a call, some people do free consultations, or you may want to book a call for a paid consultation. You're still able to see with a Facebook pixel, okay, they interacted with my post. They might have clicked on it, but like he said, they didn't convert. So you're able to see what area stops them and why aren't they converting. And that also works for services as well.
So ads can also be optimized specifically for brand awareness and engagement or conversions. And that's very important to identify what specific objective you have, but we'll dive a little bit deeper into that. And then lastly, you want to focus your target audiences. Target audiences can be reached for as little as $1 a day. However, effectiveness is determined by Facebook's bidding platform across geographical regions. This means that the more that you spend and the more that you niche down your audience, the higher your ad ranks amongst competitors in your city, state, or region. Everybody clear on that?
So this is Sheila. Can you give us an idea? So $1 a day sounds, probably appealing to most of us, but what does spending more money mean? Is that $20 a day, and for how long?
Yeah, with Facebook advertising, you can set the duration of your ad for however long it is that you would like it to run. So it could be as short as 1 day. If you want to spend that $20 that 1 day, but there's a science to it. So there's something called Facebook ad sets and things of that nature too, that allow you to create multiple different targeted audiences for that $20 that you want to spend that day, if that makes sense.
And we can, is that something we can figure out ourselves, or is that something that we would need help, that we would need somebody else's help to do? Because I went on Facebook a long time ago and tried to do something, and it was like taking an SAT.
Yeah, it does look like that. It does look like that. Facebook has 2 different versions of advertising. They have, what most people see is the boost button, which is right next to your picture. And once you post, when you click on boost, it'll set the budget for you. And Facebook will put it in front of the audience that it thinks would do best. But generally, when you do spend it that way, sometimes you may get your sales goal, you may get a conversion, you may get some type of call to action, but the Facebook Ads Manager is the back end of it, and that's probably what you were talking about. It looks like you're taking SATs. It's very detailed and full of a lot of data, but that's where you can spend $1 a day because you're able to choose your audiences specifically. You can put in your demographics, your psychographics, and that helps you use $1, but actually reach the people you're trying to reach and get them to click and get them to convert. So that can be taught if you do a lot of research of like researching on YouTube or take a course or learn from someone who does it. but typically there are digital marketing agencies that offer that. We offer that as well if you want to make sure you're using your dollar to the best of your ability. Does that make sense, Sheila? Okay, she gave us the thumbs up there.
So since we talked about targeted advertising, let's dive a little bit deeper and talk about digital advertising as a whole, right? So I have a quote here from Hitesh Bhasin. I hope I pronounced his name right, but he's from Marketing 91. And he says that advertising should never be looked at as an expense or a liability. In fact, it is an investment for a firm, just like a brand is an investment. It's always about furthering your brand and expanding its base, right? So digital advertising is the practice of delivering promotional content to different audiences through various online and digital channels, such as social media, email, search engines, mobile apps, and affiliate programs and websites. And that was given by Martech Advisor. So to give you a little bit of general statistics surrounding that, so nearly 50% of the world, this is 3 billion people we're talking about, use social media, right? And in 2019, the breakdown of this was 90.4% of millennials, 77.5% of Gen Xers, and 48.2% of baby boomers were active social media users. And each person spends an average of 2 hours and 22 minutes on social media and messaging. I know that's true for my mom. She's a baby boomer and she's on there like at least 8 hours a day. And 54% of social browsers use social media to research products. So the moment somebody comes into contact with your brand, whether it's through digital advertising or word of mouth or whatever it is, however they're exposed to it, they're gonna go and look at your social media to validate whatever their thoughts and opinions are on whatever they've seen already. So they want to see what your gram looks like. They want to see what your Facebook looks like. And if you're on YouTube, that's really important too. They want to see what your YouTube content looks like. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, right? So Facebook, 74% of Facebook users check it daily. That's 167 million people total. 96% of those Facebook users access it on their mobile device. So almost 100% of the time, they're going to be accessing Facebook from their phone. So what does that tell you about your advertising? It should say that it needs to be optimized for a person looking at it on their mobile device, right? Instagram, 64% of Instagram users are under the age of 34. That means that's a millennial and Gen Zer app, right? Now, video gets 21.2% more interactions compared to images and 18.6 more interactions compared to carousels.
In carousels, to explain that further, when you see people on Instagram, for starters, you have 10 pics that you can put on one post, and that's considered a carousel post. So a lot of people, when they want to share, they want to put those in there, but video, when you still put the interface in there, whether it's a 1-minute video or an Instagram TV video, it will capture and garner better engagement. And it actually, we always hear about the algorithm and the platform. The algorithm gives preference to videos as well, so it gets more engagement. Same when it comes to Facebook. If you're posting a bunch of pictures, it'll be better if you put a video and not a video link to your YouTube. You can if you want to promote that, but that doesn't give you favor on their platform. They want you to integrate the video and upload it on their platform, which will give you better preferences.
And there's a reason behind this as well. So if you break it down from a scientific standpoint, I remember in the 6th grade learning the signs of life. And one of the signs of life is response to stimuli. When you view a video, it stimulates your mind. So your mind is breaking down what each piece of imagery means in a fraction of a second, right? And it does this frame by frame. And that's why YouTube is also very important for businesses as well. So YouTube is the second largest search engine globally. And I'm pretty sure you guys can guess why. It's because it's owned by Google, which is the first largest search engine globally. So on mobile devices alone, YouTube reaches more adults aged 18 to 49 during primetime television time than any cable network does in an average week. And primarily is because people of my age demographic, so I'm 32 years old, I don't really care about paying for cable because I can get the same news at the same time that anyone else can just by going to YouTube on my Fire Stick. It's just that simple for me.
Right.
So let's see here. Go ahead.
So you may be asking yourself.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question. Are we going to have access to this presentation?
So we actually have a checklist for you that is
Perfect.
on everything. Yes. So we'll
Lovely.
Great question. Thank you. So I know this is a lot of information, and she brought up a great question, Sheila. So you may be asking yourself, how can I effectively use digital advertising to grow my business? You want to establish your advertising objectives. So a lot of you said you want to start establishing your online presence. You want your clients to see who you are, what you do, and you want prospective clients to understand who you are and the value that your company, your product, your service brings to them. Some objectives you can do is brand awareness. So that's a great way to start off. Oh, did I skip one?
Yeah. Just keep it.
Oh, so that's a great way to start off with when you're new to social, because you can use that to illustrate any story, get your brand going. You have lead generation, you have customer acquisition, you have product differentiation, you can increase your sales and profits, you have brand equity, you're able to create desire, you're able to do a call to action, what we've been saying. But most importantly, when you have your digital advertising campaigns, you want to know who your audiences are by focusing on the targeting. Your cold audience, people who aren't familiar with you and do not know who you are. Warm audience, people that you may know, family, friends, people that may have purchased from you or seen your ad in passing, your business in passing. Hot targeting from your audiences. People who purchase and opt in with your business. These are the only 3 lanes of customers that you need to focus on with any type of social media campaigns, traditional or non-traditional. We're gonna go ahead and get into email marketing.
So if your next email was worth $13 million, would you send it? I mean, I know I would, but I can only speak for myself, you know, but that's exactly the result Gary Thorpe did, or that's the exactly result that he had when he sent out the first ever marketing email in 1978. In fact, he did it so well that he's globally recognized as the father of spam. Now, I don't know if that's a badge that he wears with honor, you know, but he's responsible for those messages that you get that go to your spam box. So he accomplished this by understanding the power of targeting, and he was the marketing manager of a defunct technology company. But he did this by using strategic targeting and sent out a historic email to 400 different computers across the ARPANET. The result was $13 million in sales. And now I won't say that you'll be able to achieve this drastic of an increase, but you're definitely one email away from your next conversion.
So you may be asking yourself, why email? Email is a great way to communicate with your audience, especially as you build your online presence. You can pull people to your email list because these platforms do mess up. So if you're planning a launch, a special offer, sometimes the platform may not work for you that day, and then you're really just irritated that it's messing up your campaign. So email is a great way to stay in contact. It's a great way to create your relationships with your customers, provide real-time information. You can focus on the deliverability, the open rate, the click-through, and the unsubscribe. So we've been talking a lot about data, and this is another way for you to read the data, See where your customers are on their journey and figure out how or why they're not converting. Some ways that you can create an effective email campaign is defining your audience, establishing your goals, your objectives. Along the way, you're building your list. You can select an email campaign type, you can make your schedules, and you can measure your results. So those are like the broad generalities of what you can do with your email campaign. And you have email builders out here. A lot of people are familiar with MailChimp. Constant Contact is another great tool, ActiveCampaign. These are customer relationship managers, you might have heard, CRMs, and they allow you to do things automatically for your customers. You can personalize your emails with graphics, names, video. You can include call to actions to keep them coming back, keep them engaging. And you can design it for multiple devices. We've been talking about that, mobile and desktop. So you're able to switch between two versions so you can make sure that it's optimized for however your customer will see it.
And then lastly, let's cover SMS text marketing. So SMS text marketing is a more direct way of reaching your customers. Not only is the open rate at 98%, which is much larger than email, but your customers tend to read these messages within 3 minutes. And let's see here, the best practices for SMS engagement are sending reminders, also coupon codes, closing sales. So, you know, you have 8 hours to take advantage of this sale type of thing. Alerts, voting in polls to see how they feel about stuff. And then you also want to make unsubscribing easy for them as well if they're not interested in being there. So,
and all of these tools that we're speaking of, they can all start from social media.
Right. So digital versus traditional, which one is going to be right for you? So let's discuss why it's so crucial now. One word, pandemic. So the pandemic effects have been social distancing, lack of physical exposure, which means you can't do a marketing activation like you used to, economic shifts, industry collapses, increased anxiety, social unrest, and all of these things have led to increased demand for digital content and social media consumption. And just as a general stat, over the last 5 years, from 2014 to 2019, digital marketing spending was already increasing, right? So it increased by $46 billion over the last 5 years. So it was already headed in this direction. Now I'm interested in to see what those 2020 numbers are going to look like though. So for video content, like I said, this is arguably the most important part of your strategy, right? And the reason why is because story sells. It's what makes your brand unique. It tells people why you started, right? So your story in 2020 is extremely valuable to your customers and clients. They want to know exactly why you started, what drives you, and most importantly, how your product or service will improve their lives. And video by far is the most influential medium in storytelling. It's the reason why we love movies, TV shows, games, and other iterations of video. Video also shapes our perception of the world and reinforces those perceptions based on the amount of daily content we consume.
Yes, very true. Some general statistics will give you around video. They indicate why video is the driving force in reaching new prospects and converting them into loyal paying customers. Viewers retain 95% of the message when they see it in video. Video consumption on mobile devices increases by 100% every year. And one other statistics will leave you with: videos on landing page have been known to increase conversion rates by 80%. And that plays a big part of getting your services booked, selling your product, and having it get your point across. With video, you can also put text. Facebook allows you, it has a feature now where it'll read the words of what you're saying, and then it'll listen to your audio, and then it will put the words on there, closed caption for you, because on top of that, most video consumers, about 60% listen to video with the sound off. So just to bring this back to COVID-19 in your business with all these strategies and tips and ideas that we gave you, during these unprecedented times, you want your business to have the tools to stay afloat in the event of a second downturn. Just about 2 days ago, there was some breaking news saying that if we wear masks consistently until November 2020, then maybe we can prevent more deaths and prevent sickness passing on while we work on a vaccine. It's what, July now? So that's another 4 months. It's going to continue happening. So COVID-19 is an ever evolving situation, causing the state, county, and public laws to change, like we said. So digital is going to be here to stay. It is the key to surviving and thriving during and post COVID-19, because this is going to be a long ride out. So you should ask yourself, how can your business survive a second wave of shutdowns, whether it's a physical product or it's a service, especially if your service has to be face-to-face or touch-base? What will you do? Do you have a way to digitally sell your product or service? There are people, estheticians that I've seen, who are doing virtual consultations. They are sending out home kits. There are doctors that are leaning to telehealth and telemedicine. They're sending out kits, they're doing virtual consultations. So you're thinking, how can you start incorporating virtual experiences into your business? I went to one of my first virtual retreats where a mixologist was on screen giving out instructions. So you need to literally think out of the box, like we were saying in the beginning. The Great Depression era created so many inventions, so many innovative ways to run businesses, just like now, restaurants are selling groceries. So look at your business like that. How can I be the leader in my industry? Now this, where or how do I start, or where can I improve? Maybe a question that you're asking yourself. This is the checklist that we're going to give you guys. And I know that we have a few minutes left, so we'll run through this, but you will have access to this. And actually, as he reads that, I'm going to send this in the chat, because you guys can go ahead and grab it as Mike goes through it.
Okay, so where or how can you start today, and where can you improve if you're already online, right? So you want to, number one, you want to create a strategy, because a failure to plan is a plan to fail, right? So you want to create that strategy, define your offers and objectives within that strategy, and create a marketing funnel to define your customer journey. Second of all, you want to start and build your online presence. And so you want to draft maybe a 14 to 30-day social content calendar. And I know that might be a bit of a commitment for you, but you could at least start with 7 days, right? So, and you want to post on different days of the week, times of the day, and build up your engagement and analytics, and be able to understand that data once you review it. Third, you want to get seen and connect with your target audience. So you want to tell the story behind your brand with vibrant photos or videos, and then you want to speak the language of your target audience to grab their attention. You want to talk to a baby boomer the same way that you would talk to a Gen Zer, because the message just doesn't compute the same way. So you need to make sure that your copy directly speaks to a person the way that it's supposed to. So then you want to study the latest trends, right? So let's see what is and isn't working with competitors in your industry. And then also you want to brainstorm how your business can bring something unique to your customers' experience. 5, you want to be creative, right? Study the leaders from other industries to incorporate innovative marketing tactics into your overall strategy. And then you want to personalize your brand with your content. You want to use organic growth hacks as well to increase your following. Like we said, use those hashtags, right? And then you want to leverage your influencers, right? We talked about the know, like, trust factor. They know them, they like them, and they trust their recommendations. So you want to target influencer pages that fall within your consumer demographic. This is in the way, my bad. So following that, you can also target micro influencers. And these are people that have less than 10,000, sometimes even have less than 3,000 followers. but they have a really niche and engaged audience who knows, likes them, and trusts them. 7, you want to create collaborative and shareable content. You want to collaborate with others in your industry and cross-promote each other. An example we have here is a tax person that does a webinar with a CPA, but we have a tax attorney in here that could do something with a CPA. And then lastly, we want to create shareable content that informs, entertains, and goes behind the scenes or further explains your story.
Yes, and then like I said, you can experiment with Facebook ads where you can figure out how to create audiences centered around your industry that correlate with your target audience's online activity and consumer behavior. You have interests that are out there. For instance, like myself, I do coaching and consulting, so I get ads from other coaches and consultants who are looking for me. You want to test different types of offers in media and copy so you can understand the data and figure out where they're stopping on the customer journey. You want to study your analytics. You're understanding your marketing data by reviewing the demographics of your targets and seeing where your prospects are stopping on their customer journey. After evaluating your analytics, you want to review your marketing campaign strategies to see the strengths and, well, to strengthen the weaknesses in your strategy. They will always let you know. Data always tells you what is and what isn't working. And lastly, when you go through the strategy and you're looking at how to implement, you can hire a professional. Like Levon was saying earlier, sometimes for us, it's a lot of overwhelm, it's time consuming. Learning the in and outs of digital marketing is definitely time consuming. Creating content, writing copy, creating calendars, scheduling posts, and digital advertising on each platform takes a significant amount of time and effort, which in turn can take away from conducting your business. So you may risk wasting your budget by not effectively optimizing your digital campaign, your presence, and marketing objectives. Hiring a professional like us, Scott Square Media Solutions, will dramatically improve your chances of converting new customers and reducing your costs on potential errors. So again, Julian, I'm not sure if you were able to get the text that I sent.
Yes, so I included the link in the chat, and it's there for everyone to be able to go to.
Great. So that link there, you guys can go and get the checklist so you can walk through it. And this is something that, again, you can put in your digital marketing strategy so you can push through COVID-19 because it is here to stay. These are other ways that you can connect with us, but you can also get this from the link in the chat as well as with the checklist that has more information. We also do free consultations. If you need to just have some one-on-one time for your own personal strategy, we're available. So we know that we threw a lot of information at you guys. Do we have any questions, whether it pertains to your business or anything that we said today?
No.
Go ahead.
So a question I have would be, I guess you would help us choose, like there are a number of different vehicles to use. You don't necessarily have to use all of them, right? So do you help people choose which are the ones best for them? And what criteria do you use?
Absolutely. That's a very self-aware question, right? You want to make sure that you use the platform that works best for you.
Yeah, and the way that you decide what works for you is knowing the research of your audience. So the demographics, whether you may have a younger audience, an older audience, you figure out, okay, how do they like to communicate? Younger audiences may prefer to get text messages and emails. Older audiences may prefer to see videos or emails. So you have to figure out what your audience, who your audience is, and then from there, you're able to determine, well, how do they consume their information? So that's a great way to look at it. How do they get their news, their entertainment, and how do they communicate with family and friends? Because those are the three general areas that they like to consume information online, and that's how they'll interact with you and your business. Did that answer your question, Levon?
It does. Thank you.
Awesome. Do we have any?
Yeah, I unfortunately have to go to a meeting. I cut that meeting short to come to this one, so now I got to fly over there. But first of all, thank you so much. This was extremely informative. I am at that point now where I am just scheduling out my 30-day social. Would you recommend that it is a post every day, like if I do, Mondays LinkedIn and Tuesdays Facebook and Wednesdays Instagram, or is it every day, all of them, or how do you, right? Because I don't want to be overwhelmed and quit too soon.
Right.
But I didn't know if I should just rotate through them. What do you think on that?
Yes, you definitely can, because that's the thing about social media, online marketing in general. You have to test the information out and see what works for you, because it generally is going to be different for everyone in other industries. So you can start off posting different days, different times, different platforms. Initially, it's going to be a lot of work because you figure out, where are my people? Where are they? What time are they engaging? And then you look at your data. They have analytics on Facebook, links. Every platform shows you what time of day people are clicking on your stuff, when they're looking at it. You just got to find it and read it afterwards.
Okay, and LinkedIn, no selling, right? I know we can do ads and stuff on Facebook, but I've been told by several people that LinkedIn is just there. They don't really tolerate or expect advertising on there, just information.
There's ads on LinkedIn.
You can run ads on LinkedIn, but if you're advertising on your page, again, anything that takes people off of the platform, they do not favor. So it won't be seen by a lot of people if you're directing people to go back to Facebook or YouTube. But if you upload an organic video and you're just having a conversation on LinkedIn, then they're going to show that to more people that follow you.
Got it. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, Kelly, Julian. Nice to see you. It's been a while. And Mychal and Brooke, thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Sheila.
Bye, Levon. I'm glad
It was a great presentation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
And I hope that we can follow up. So.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, most definitely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So I saw something from Tiffany.
Great presentation. Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks for
Thank you so
showing up.
much.
Nice. Any more questions before we go? No? Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julian, for having us.
Thank you guys.